This will be for the Kuta software worksheet, secant-tangent and tangent-tangent angles. Okay, I will be covering the first 8 problems. Not necessarily all of them, but just up to number 8 for now. All right, so here we have angles formed by a tangent and a chord. Okay, this right here is the tangent, and this right here is the chord. So when the tangent and the chord intersect on the circle, okay, they intersect at a point that is on the circle, each angle is half the measure of its arc. Okay, so you can see, I'll do it in red. Angle 1 is this angle right here. That's angle 1. And the arc for angle 1 runs from point B to point A. And it says that the measure of angle 1 equals half of the measure of angle AB. So it's half the arc. All right, the same thing is true on the other side. This angle right here, that's angle 2. And angle 2 is going to be half of the arc that it intercepts. You see this arc right here in blue. Whatever measurement that arc is, the angle is going to be half of that arc. Okay, so the measure of angle 2 is 1/2 of BCA. So that's BCA. All right, all you have to remember is when the tangent and the chord intersect on the circle like that, the angle is going to be half of the arc. All right, let's look at problem 1. We see the chord right here and the tangent right here. They intersect at point F. And we said the angle is going to equal half of the arc. All right, so let's write that first. The angle is going to equal half of the arc. All right, 1/2 times the arc. So the arc that this angle intercepts, it runs from point G to point F. All right, that's the arc right there. So the angle is 76. And that's going to equal 1/2 of the arc. All right, you can write the measure of arc FG if you wish. Okay, but you don't have to. I am just going to leave it as 1/2 times the arc for now. All right, because I already highlighted which arc I'm referring to. All right, and to solve for the arc, we're multiplying by 1/2. How do you get rid of 1/2? We just multiply both sides by 2. Okay, the opposite of times 1/2 is times 2. You want to do that to both sides. Times 2. Okay, 1/2 times 2 cancels because 2 divided by 2 is just 1. And 2 times 76 is going to be 152. So that equals the arc. Okay, so this one here is 152. And of course, that is in degrees. Notice the arc is 2 times the angle. However, the question mark they are asking is for the other arc. They are asking us for the arc on this side. Okay, how many degrees is all the way around the circle? Well, that's 360. So this arc right here, the whole thing is 360, and we're just going to subtract the one in blue. So that's just going to be 360 minus 152. Okay, 10 minus 2 is 8. 5 minus 5 is 0. And 3 minus 1 is 2. So that is going to be 208 degrees. And that equals this arc, represented by the question mark. All right, so that's it for problem number 1. All right, please pause and try number 5. Remember that the angle is 1/2 times the arc. All right, this is the angle here. You can call it MLK if you want. I am just going to write angle for now because the angle is represented by that question mark. And we can see this angle intercepts this arc right here. All right, so the angle is represented by the question mark, and that's going to be 1/2 times the arc. This arc is 130. And of course, half of 130 is just 65, and that is in degrees. Simple. Now, the other thing you have to know, there's 3 cases, but the formula is the same in all 3 cases. Whether you have a secant and a tangent and a tangent, and a secant and a secant, the angle, I should write angle right here. The angle is going to equal 1/2 the difference of the arcs. Okay, difference, of course, that means you subtract. All right, and when you subtract, you want to put the larger number first. Otherwise, you're going to get a negative answer. Okay, so for all 3 cases, here we have a secant and a tangent. And it's just 1/2 the red arc minus the blue arc. So you just subtract this arc and that arc and take 1/2. Okay, in this case, we have a tangent and a tangent. Same thing. You take this arc minus that arc and then multiply it by 1/2. And finally, we have a secant and a secant. The formula is the same, 1/2 the difference of the arcs. All right, for the tangent-tangent case, I am going to show you a shortcut. All right, it's called tangent-tangent because these lines are both tangent. If you take the tangent angle and you take its intercepted arc, okay? In other words, the first one that it intercepts, and you add the tangent angle and the arc, that's going to add to 180. All right, so if you take the tangent angle plus the intercepted arc, that's going to equal 180, okay? I called it a tangent angle because it was formed outside the circle by the 2 tangents. Okay, so this angle plus this arc is going to equal 180. So you need to know that for a few problems on the worksheet. All right, let's look at number 2 here. The question mark is here. They are trying to find, they're telling us to find the measure of that arc. So we have 2 tangents. You see these tangent lines, we have 2 tangent lines because they only intersect the circle at 1 point. Okay, and we said the tangent angle plus its intercepted arc equals 180. So I'll just write that out for now. You don't have to write it every time. All right, so let's say the tangent angle plus the intercepted arc combined, they equal 180, okay, in degrees, when you add this and that. So it's very simple. The question mark is just going to equal 180 minus 50. And of course, that's 30 degrees. All right, so you're going to do the same thing on number 4. This angle plus this arc are going to add to 180. And same thing on number 7. This angle plus this arc are going to add to 180. All right, let's look at number 6. This one here is a secant, and this one here is a tangent. So we cannot use the shortcut on number 6. But we said before, the angle outside the circle is 1/2 the difference of the arcs. All right, so let's just write that out. That the angle outside the circle is going to be 1/2 the difference of the arcs. Okay, remember, difference means we subtract. So let's plug in the numbers here. The angle outside the circle is this angle right here. That's 44 degrees. So we'll just write 44. And that's going to equal 1/2. The difference, that means we subtract the two arcs. Make sure you put the larger one first when you subtract. Otherwise, you're going to get a negative answer. All right, so we see this angle. It reaches point S and point P. So this arc right here, the larger arc, is question mark. We don't know what it is. You can call it X if you want, or you can call it question mark. And we're taking the difference, so we are subtracting. And the other arc is this one right here. All right, see the angle, it intercepts this arc and this arc. So the smaller arc is 65. All right, and now we have a 1/2. How do you get rid of 1/2? What's the opposite of times 1/2? Well, that's times 2. So I'm going to do times 2 on this side, and I'm going to do times 2 on this side. You want to do times 2 on both sides of the equal sign. All right, 2 times 1/2 cancels because 2 divided by 2 is just 1. And 2 times 44 is 88. And that's going to equal question mark minus 65. All right, the opposite, solving for question mark, same as solving for X. You can call it X if you want. The opposite of minus 65 is plus 65. You want to do that to both sides. All right, it cancels here. Bring down your question mark. Bring down your equal sign. 8 plus 5 is 3. Carry the 1, and that is 15. That's 153, and that is in degrees. All right, so I don't think the algebra is too bad. I think the setup is the main thing. You see the angle outside, you subtract the arcs, and take 1/2.